Picture this. You're a college student in junior year during finals week. You've pulled all-nighters before. Everyone has. One night without sleep, a couple energy drinks, you push through. You feel rough the next day, but you survive. So when your roommate dares you to go the whole week without sleeping, you think, how different can it be? You've done one night. 7 nights is just more of the same, right? You are so wrong. Oh, hey there. Today we're talking about sleep deprivation. Specifically, what happens when you don't sleep for 11 days straight. And I don't mean tired. I don't mean groggy. I mean your brain starts generating its own reality and your body begins the process of eating itself from the inside out. Let's find out what happens when you refuse to let your brain do the one thing it literally cannot survive without. Okay, before we get into the horror show, let's talk about why you sleep in the first place. Because most people think sleep is just your body powering down, like a laptop going to sleep mode. It's not. Sleep is the most aggressively active thing your brain does all day. While you're unconscious, your brain is doing something called glymphatic clearance. Basically, your brain cells shrink by about 60%, and cerebrospinal fluid flushes through the gaps, washing out toxic waste products that built up while you were awake. One of those waste products is a protein called beta-amyloid. It's the same stuff that clumps into plaques in Alzheimer's patients. Every night you don't sleep, more of it accumulates. Your brain is literally poisoning itself every hour you stay awake, and sleep is the antidote. On top of that, your body repairs muscle tissue, consolidates memories, regulates hormones, resets your immune system. Sleep isn't downtime. Sleep is maintenance. Skip it long enough and everything breaks. The world record for documented sleep deprivation is 11 days and 24 minutes, set in 1964 by a 17-year-old named Randy Gardner for a school science project. Researchers from Stanford monitored him the whole time. What they documented is one of the most unsettling case studies in human physiology. So let's go through it, day by day. Day 1. You feel fine, genuinely fine. A little wired, actually. Your body doesn't panic on day 1, it thinks this is temporary. Maybe you're running from a predator, maybe there's an emergency. It releases cortisol and adrenaline to keep you sharp. You're alert, focused, maybe even in a good mood. Your roommate thinks this is going to be easy. Day 2. Your brain is now entering what's called sleep pressure. Adenosine, a chemical that builds up every hour you're awake, is now at levels your brain has never had to deal with before. Normally, sleep clears it overnight, but you didn't sleep. So it's just stacking. You're irritable. Concentration is getting harder. Simple tasks take longer. You keep losing your train of thought mid-sentence. Your reaction time has already slowed to match someone who is legally drunk, and you haven't touched a drink. Day 3. This is where things get medically interesting. Your body, realizing no sleep is coming, starts making a desperate decision. It starts putting parts of your brain to sleep while you're still technically awake. It's called microsleep. And here's the terrifying part. You don't know it's happening. You're standing in your kitchen, and for 2 to 3 seconds, you're gone. Your brain just took a nap without your permission. You come back mid-sentence, mid-step, mid-whatever you were doing, with no memory of the gap. People around you notice you going blank. You think they're imagining it. They're not. Your emotional regulation is completely offline. You're crying over nothing and you don't know why. Then you're fine. Then you're furious. Then you're fine again. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles logical thinking and impulse control, is running on fumes. What's left is just raw limbic system. Emotion with no filter. Day 4. Welcome to the part where your brain starts making things up. Mild hallucinations. Not full visions, not yet. Just things in the corner of your eye that aren't there. A shadow that moved when nothing moved. A sound that nobody else heard. Your brain, starved of the sensory processing it normally does during REM sleep, has started filling in gaps with fabricated data. You mention it to the Stanford researchers. They write it down without blinking. They've seen this before. Day 5 and 6. Randy Gardner, the actual record holder, started forgetting who he was. He'd be mid-conversation and lose the thread completely. He'd forget words for common objects. He'd start a sentence and have no idea how to finish it. His short-term memory was essentially gone. He could retain information for maybe 30 seconds before it dissolved. The hallucinations are full-scale now, visual, auditory, and tactile. Randy famously believed he was a famous football player for a period. He wasn't confused about it. He was convinced. His brain had generated a complete alternate reality and presented it to him as fact. This isn't psychosis in the clinical sense. This is what happens when a brain is forced to do REM dreaming while awake because it has no other choice. Your brain needs to dream. Deny it long enough, and it dreams anyway, with your eyes open. Day 7. You've now been awake longer than most humans in recorded history.
Congratulations!
Your hands are trembling, not shaking like you're cold, trembling, uncontrolled, like your motor neurons are misfiring, which they are. Your speech is slurred. The signal from your brain to your mouth is lagging, garbling, losing data in transit. The researchers note that Randy Gardner at this point could no longer consistently identify objects by touch, couldn't count backwards from 100 without losing track before he hit 85. His eyes weren't tracking correctly. His face had developed a kind of blankness, a mask like the muscles had forgotten their default expression. Days 8 through 10. Here's where the documented human data gets thin, because no modern ethics board would let a study get this far. What we know comes from Randy Gardner himself, and it's not pretty. Your cortisol has been elevated for so long that your body has essentially forgotten what baseline feels like. Your hippocampus, the brain's memory center, is running so hot from chronic stress hormones that forming new memories is nearly impossible. Your cardiovascular system is struggling, heart rate irregular, blood pressure unpredictable. The beta-amyloid waste that your brain normally flushes during sleep has been accumulating for over a week with nowhere to go. And the hallucinations at this point aren't episodes anymore, they're just your reality now. Day 11. Randy Gardner completed his record on January 8, 1964. He was escorted to a naval hospital where doctors documented everything before letting him sleep. His cognitive function was severely impaired. His hallucinations were constant. He had lost the ability to perform basic tasks he could do on day 1. Then he slept for 14 hours and 54 minutes. And when he woke up, he was mostly fine. Mostly. Short-term follow-up showed he recovered well. But long-term? Randy Gardner has reported severe insomnia for decades afterward. Some researchers believe his experiment permanently disrupted his sleep architecture, that his brain's relationship with sleep was never quite the same. He set out to prove you could survive 11 days without sleeping. He was right. But surviving and being unaffected are not the same thing. Okay, but what does this actually feel like? Because we've covered the biology, let's talk about the experience. The first couple days feel like a long night. Uncomfortable, but manageable. By day 3, you feel wrong, not tired. Wrong. Like there's static behind your eyes, and your thoughts are arriving slightly delayed. Like a bad video call with your own brain. By day 5, the world stops making complete sense. You'll look at something familiar and feel confused by it. A door handle, a light switch. Objects your hands have operated 10,000 times suddenly require a moment of genuine processing. And the emotional experience by day 7 is impossible to describe to someone who hasn't been there. It's not sadness. It's not fear. It's a kind of hollow unreality, like you're watching yourself from behind glass. People talk to you, and you understand the sounds, but the meaning takes a second to load. You're present and absent at the same time. Randy Gardner described day 10 as the day he remembered the least, not because it wasn't happening, because his brain simply wasn't forming stable memories anymore. There are gaps, hours that don't exist in his recollection. His body was there. He was not. So there you have it. 11 days without sleep. Not a superpower, not a fun experiment. A systematic dismantling of everything that makes you a functioning human. Here's the thing though. You don't need 11 days for it to hurt you. Research shows that 17 hours awake impairs you as much as a blood alcohol level of 0.05. 24 hours matches 0.10, which is legally drunk in every US state. Most people in modern life are running on 6 hours or less and wondering why they feel broken. So maybe the experiment isn't 11 days. Maybe the experiment is tonight. And most of us are already participating. Hit subscribe if you want to keep exploring what your body is secretly doing to survive you. And get some sleep. Seriously, the beta-amyloid isn't going to clear itself.